Okay, once again, these are for those of you that went through and did what I asked to do, which was to go through and study all the materials, including last year's midterm. These are the answers for last year's midterm, okay? And so what we can do at this point, we can approach this. You've got about 15 minutes. So any questions that you want to ask, whether it's off of the questions off the midterm or off of any of the sample questions or anything else, then let's go from there. All right, so you guys, which one wants to go first?
Constant amortization, so 2 and 14 are pretty much the same.
Okay, off of the sample test?
Yeah.
Or last year's test?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so question 2, what you're going to do, you've got a $100,000, or I'm sorry, $1 million loan. And if you remember what I said to do initially, is you take and divide that by the loan term, which in this case is 120 months, which gives you $8,333.33 for the principal portion of the mortgage. And what it asks for is, what is your mortgage payment for month 3? Well, in month 3, you would have paid off month 2 of $833.33 and month 2 of $833.33, leaving you with a balance of $983.333.34. Multiply that by your interest rate of 8% divided by 12 to get the monthly, which gives you 65, 55, 56 in interest. You add those two together and you get $14,888.89 as your payment for the 3rd month.
So the interest plus the 833.
Yeah, so in other words, the principal of 833.33 plus the 6555.56 equals the 14,888.89.
So isn't the principal at the end of the 3rd month 8,333 times 3? I'm sorry.
In other words, here's the way you need to look at it. You have paid off the principal for the 1st month. You have paid off the principal for the second month. And then this is what you have left to pay during the 3rd month.
Oh. Oh.
Aha.
So easy. All right, let's take the test. All right. Can we do 14 real quick then?
Okay, 14.
Just to clarify.
That sounds good.
Okay, this is also a constant amortization mortgage, 10-year term, 7% interest rate. Okay, so basically the same thing. And here you're just asking for the total interest paid during the 2nd month. So once again, we'll do the 1 million divided by 120, which gives us the 83.33. We take the 1 million, whoops, we subtract out that 1 month of 83.33.33, which means during the 2nd month, our balance is 991,666.67. Multiply that by the interest rate of 7%, divide by 12, meaning the interest for that month is 57.84.72. Okay.
23.
Okay. 23 is an adjustable rate mortgage of $1 million, initial interest rate of 4% for year 1 with monthly payments. Okay, assume the interest rate increases to 8% beginning of year 2. Loan origination fees of 5%, prepayment penalty fees of 3%, calculate the effective cost of borrowing, assuming it's paid off at the end of year 2. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, start out with the $1 million. for 20 years, 4% interest rate, which gives you the payment of $6,059.80. You're going to find the balance at the end of the first year. And the balance is $966,675.82. Clear it. Put that in as your new loan amount or present value for 19 remaining years at 8%. Calculate your payment. And you get $82.60.26. Get the balance at the end of the second year. And you get $944,069. Whoops. 069.83. Okay. Now, all right, so now what we've got to do, once we've got those numbers, then we're going to have to take into account effectively the loan origination fees and the prepayment penalty. So here's what we're going to do. Sort of start off 1 million minus $50,000 is going to equal our initial cash flow. So that's going to obviously be subtracting out the loan origination fees. Then we're going to put in the $6,059.80 as our cash flow for the first 12 months. Then we're going to put in the cash flow of the $82.60.26 for the next 11 months. Oops. Yep. For the next 11 months, because our final cash flow is going to be $82.60.26 plus whatever our balance is multiplied by the prepayment penalty, which we have to calculate here in a second. And that will be our final cash flow there. And then we'll be solving for internal rate of return, and then that will be our answer. Now, to get that final amount, the payoff amount, is going to be the $944,069.83 times 1 plus the prepayment penalty of 3%, so $972,391.93. And so when you pop that in, you should get 10.043%. Okay? Okay. Okay, you've got a property that's generating $50,000 a year in stabilized NOI. The lender is willing to make you a loan on the property based on a 1.35 debt service coverage ratio. Calculate the maximum loan amount you can obtain on this property, assuming that loan terms of 30 years with 5% interest rate, assume monthly loan payments. Okay, so what I do is simply write out the formula for debt service coverage ratio, which is net operating income divided by annual debt service. Fill in what we know. We know that our debt service coverage ratio is 1.35. We know that our net operating income is $50,000. So we back solve. Obviously, $50,000 divided by 1.35 gives us maximum annual debt service of $37,037 $1,509. All right, we need to convert that to monthly debt service. So divide by 12, and we get $3,086.92, I think. Is there 92 or 42? 42. All right, once we've got that, we take the 3086.42, put that in as payment for a 5% interest rate, 30-year term. Solve for the maximum loan amount of $574,943.31. Okay.
Very interesting.
Well,
Okay. Any other questions?
Can you go over 833 in the appendix?
Okay.
There's one more too on the midterm I wasn't sure about. There's just one of the other questions. It said that, what's the relationship between, interest-only mortgage and a fully amortized mortgage as far as the default rate?
Okay. So you would expect that, well, okay, let me just ask you, but you would expect that they're going to be different.
Right.
And you would expect that the interest-only mortgage, by virtue that you're not paying any principal whatsoever on the loan, is going to have a higher default rate because the borrower, quite frankly, has no skin in the game. They can just walk away from it. I mean, granted, their credit is ruined and that sort of thing, but if you have a normal, fully amortizing mortgage, you've been paying down principal and interest, you're going to be less likely to walk away. I mean, you may still, that having been said, you may still have a situation that, like you've lost your job, all sources of income, and so regardless of which loan you have, you're going to default. But all other things being kind of equal, the assumption is that you're probably, number one, you're going to have a higher loan amount on the interest only, and since you're not making any principal payments, you're going to be inclined to just walk away. Okay, you said A33. Okay, this one, we've got a couple of leases. And so let's see here. Okay, the first one is lease A for 5 annual end-of-the-year payments of $55,000. So let's just sort of start with that. Okay, so 1 payment per year. And we said $55,000. And the discount rate is 12%. And we said this is over, 5 years. So 5, shift in, and we're going to solve for present value. So the value of that lease is $198,262.69. Okay, that's lease A, and then lease B.
See, that's what I had. You had different answers, I think, on the video.
Because he used beginning. He used the
Well,
beginning
okay.
function on that one.
Because that's what I got. And then I got another one that was close to it, but whatever. But on your answers, you had like 222 and 216.
Yeah, and what I did, I mean, this is a question that it depends on whose perspective you're looking at it from. And that was one of the discussion points that I typically have with students about this particular problem is, it depends on if you're looking at it from the tenant's perspective or you're looking at it from the property owner's perspective. And also the verbiage of kind of when the payments are occurring and not occurring and that sort of thing. And so that's why that there's inconsistency. But for the purposes of the test, I will be explicit as to, as a matter of fact, there's nothing on the test that is begin mode. All of it's in mode.
Awesome.
Okay? So let's see, okay, so this 45,000 as the payment.
Can you just solve it for PV at this point without
And-
adding extra stuff back in?
Give me a second. 12%, 5 years, and then you solve for present value. Okay, so start with that.
Robert.
Okay, and you get 162, 214, 93. Now, here's part of where it begins to be a little bit of an issue. So you can lease an office facility, and in this case, you must spend $35,000 in tenant improvements. It appears that this is looking at this from the tenant's perspective, okay? If it is looking at it from the tenant's perspective, then you would simply have to add in 35,000 to that PV, and in that case, you would get
97.
$197. Okay. All right. Any others? We have time? Oop, we're at time. Okay. Let's get started.
Well,
Okay. Once again, you technically have until 2 o'clock. We're starting the development class, and you're going to have to turn your test in if you're not done by then. But you have until 2 o'clock. So that means technically you should finish the test within 2 hours, have 30 minutes for lunch. But it gives you, if you want to eat a big lunch, then you need to obviously finish faster.
you have number 2 pencil?
You can just use the pen as far as I'm concerned. And the test is 2 parts, which I will give you separately. So the first part is strictly the calculator and closed book, closed notes portion. Once you finish that, you will turn that in, and then I will give you the second part, which is the Excel part. I would argue that you need absolutely no more than 15 to 20 minutes to do the second part, okay? But if you want to spend an hour and a half on the first part, spend 30 minutes on the second part, you can do that, okay?
Can you use blank paper?
You can write on the back of the test.
So we can't use
Just write on the back of the test.
I already ripped it out.
Right on the back of the test.
Is the pencils fine? Thank you.
And I'll have these graded and back to you this afternoon.
Oh, shoot.
Well, not back to you, I'll have them graded.